Now by former U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel Steve Russell. Thank you so much for being with us. How much of a hit was this warship being struck and sunk to the Russian forces?
Well, it's certainly a morale blow to the Russian Navy. This was their flagship in the Black Sea, so that means that was the head of their effort. That would have been the main ship where their leaders were. So symbologically, it's huge for the Ukrainians to see this go down.
CIA Director William Burns speaking on Thursday saying we should not forget that Russia has nuclear capabilities. How concerned are we, and how prepared are we, and how prepared is the world for something like that?
Well, we certainly are more prepared than any other nation. One, we have great nuclear deterrence. We have good anti-missile defenses. But in terms of the Russian threat, it's simply that. Putin is a master of making threats to try to distract from his other efforts. So we don't discount it. It's a nuclear-armed nation. But in seriousness of it, that would be suicide for all of the Russian nation as we know it today.
I'm thinking about the reputation he has, not just to talk a big game, but also to make these threats and actually go through with them. So how much retaliation is Ukraine expecting from some of these strategic losses that it appears that Russia is incurring, including the sinking of that warship?
Well, they have to do something. They have to answer with something. And that's what you see with the Kiev missile strike. It's some answer of what they're doing. What's striking is that they say all 500 sailors were evacuated from the ship after an ammunition explosion. That just can't be possible. So the lies that continue to flow out of Moscow are incredible. The threats that follow will also be taken seriously, but in terms of their actuality, that's another matter.
It is another matter. Finland and Sweden are now considering to apply to join NATO. Are they just joining to protect themselves so they are not in the same position as Ukraine down the road?
This is huge. The Nordic countries have, certainly been very divided on their participation in NATO. You've had Norway and Iceland, obviously Greenland, that have been involved, but Finland, very independent, fiercely independent, threw Russia out, very similar to what Ukraine is doing now. But this is a game changer. This will change everything when it comes to the Baltic Sea. It will change everything when it comes to the Arctic Ocean, where we see the port of Murmansk, the NATO navies, all of the cooperation that can go there. Russia simply does not have the combat power to try to cover all of those places. And it's a great stress on what they're doing, regardless of the threats that they say that they will stage more troops. They simply don't have them.
So do you believe that with Finland and Sweden actually making that statement or making it known that they're considering joining NATO, that that's a threat against Russia?
Well, it's no, it's a defense of Europe. And I think Finland and Sweden clearly see that their only threat to their national security would be from Russia. And they are looking at how can they partner, how can they continue to consolidate effort with the free peoples that are in Europe. It's a huge move, and it's something that, quite frankly, none of us thought that we would see, especially with Finland, as time has gone on with regard to Russia. So Putin has failed in this regard with NATO expansion. He's actually creating a larger, more unified, more militarized NATO than we had at the beginning of the year.
Lieutenant Colonel Russell, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click on the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.